And what I want to go through with you today is the Sage 200 2015 new features. Now, I think a lot of people who's using Sage, I think this is kind of the release we've been waiting for a while. It's just Sage have took on board everything, I think, which they've kind of held their hands up and said, you know, didn't work so well in 2011 and 2013 and fixed it all in 2015. We've got the beta version here, and I must say I'm really pleased with it. The product's been released to the channel now, so this is available kind of for everyone. What we'll be doing at HBP is getting in touch with everyone and discussing an upgrade with them. So just to kind of give you an introduction to the product today, just to give you an idea of what we're going to run through. So we're going to have a look at the new user interface. We're going to have a look at usability enhancements. So a lot of things which you guys have been shouting for and wanted in a release. Hopefully most of them have been addressed here. We'll also look at the Sage 200 XL reporting. Business intelligence is still within the product. However, they have also brought in this Sage 200 XL reporting, which uses pivot tables, which is powerful too. We've got a new fixed assets module. Also, I want to talk about the early settlement discount, which has been a government change from the 1st of April. Hopefully everyone's aware of that. And then we'll just have a question and answer session at the end. So, if I just start to open the product first straight away, but just have a wee look here. Now, straight away you'll see that Sage 200, it just looks completely different. I think it just looks much tidier. One thing they have done, they've kind of they've tidied up all the forms. So we'll see if we start to enter transactions. You'll notice that the forms are just squarer. They just look, I think, much better than what they did before. They've also used intelligent marking. So when you actually enter things, what the system will do, it'll go to the next place that it knows that you're going to want to enter the data. Again, just making it a bit more user-friendly. Now, the workspaces, so everyone who kind of got used to the workspaces, I know Sage, they weren't perhaps as big a hit as what they had hoped for. So what they've done in this version, they've kind of gone back to the old list views. Obviously the list views being like which are again across all of the Sage 200 products. So I guess Sage Payroll, Sage 50, HR, it does all use this list view kind of technology. And again, this is what Sage have gone back to. They've kind of gone back to this format, which I think, to be fair, is kind of where they needed to go. The workspaces are still in the system. However, hopefully anyone who does use them, there won't be performance issues or anything else. They should be much better, much quicker. Shouldn't have any of the speed issues which are affecting the spool files or everything else. On my system here, I'm actually running a virtual image on my screen, and you can see that they're opening straight away. So the workspaces are still there that anyone wanted to use them. The process maps, again, anyone that wanted to use the process maps, these are still here as well. Nothing's changed particularly on them as with the workspaces. However, they've just kind of tidied them up and brightened them up a bit. The other thing you've got here on your new user interface, if you like to make it easier, you've got frequently accessed things, so anything which you use all the time is available along the bottom. You've also got the option of multiple windows open as well, so enter new account. If we just open that window, we open enter account details. What you should be able to see there is all the windows which are actually open. So if you notice here, what it's showing me is that there's actually 3 windows open here across the bottom. I'll just make my screen bigger so we can just see a bit more information on there. So if we start to look at have a look at what they've changed actually on the menus. Favorites, everyone's favorites are still there, so you can see the favorites here. They're just a bit easier to get to down the side. And to add things to favorites now, again, dead easy. Click on what you want to make a favorite, click this wee star, and then that now becomes and is part of your favorites menu. Another thing you can do, you can start to actually design your own menus. So if we just have a look here, let's just say I want to edit this menu here. So what I want to do, I want to add a new folder onto here. So I'm going to go HBP test webinar. And what I'm, well. And what it's going to allow us to do there is add things into that folder. So within the My HBP webinar, it's going to allow us to put things into there. Another thing what I can do, I can start deleting stuff out if I don't want them in there. So that can quite easily be removed from favorites there. If I just come out of favorites there and go back into my menu, and what the system's going to allow us to do at this point, just 1 second. What the system's going to allow me to do at this point, if I go in and edit this menu, I'm going to be able to move any of these up. I'm going to be able to take any of these off if I want to. Just bear in mind that these are all completely governed by user permission, so everyone won't be able to go in and just sort of change menus all over the place. But this is quite a handy thing just to give people just a bit of, you know, let's just say someone doesn't use or never wants to see Accounting System Manager, get them to take it off the menu, or again, you can do it if you've got the permission, but just make these menus much more user-friendly. We do see a lot of really convoluted menus here. So basically, hopefully that should help. If we just start to have a look at changes then, which have been made on the list view, one dead handy thing which I didn't realise how handy it was till I started to use it. If you notice, it starts to make a running total like Excel does here down the side, so that's quite handy. It's got a scrollable view so that it just allows you to keep certain positions, keep things in certain positions, whereas before if your screen was too big it would all get it would all start running off the screen and everything else. That scrollable is handy. Your filters is obviously still there, so you've still got your filters which can be used at the top. Again, absolutely perfect, exactly what we were wanting there. Now, the other thing, which we've got, my screen's just going a tiny bit slow. Basically, it's just because what I've got there, I've got, I'm running a virtual image on my machine. So the kind of things I can start to look at here are, if I just shut this down, we've looked through our menu, we've looked through redesigning our menu. The other things that you can do here, we've still got our filters available, so we can start adding new filters here. Again, they do exactly the same, they're just a bit more intuitive, they're just a bit more easy to use. We've got our balance here, as I say, down here, and really I didn't realise how helpful that would be until I actually started using it. That's really, really, really good. You've obviously got all your quick keys here across the top, so anything you want to do, anything you want to say again, this has just been made I think just better, just the overall look of the whole thing looks much better. And also what you've got within it, so if we just have a look, as I say, all the screens just look tidier as well, I think. So, the other thing, which Sage has made a big change to, which will be handy. Everyone always had an issue with a narrative stopping you from being able to enter enough information. The narrative on all of the fields now has been made 66,000 characters, so it allows, I don't think anyone's going to need 6,000 characters, but it does allow you to put that amount of information in if you want to. So again, just a dead easy change, but it's just really useful. The other thing, again, which people have been asking for, is within Sage 50, sorry, you had the option to use the file and the maintenance button. So everyone who moved from Sage 50 to Sage 200 had an option with not having that file maintenance facility there. That is now in Sage 200. Obviously, it needs to adhere to certain criteria. So say if a transaction's been posted, it's cleared the bank, or if it's been, I don't know if it's been deleted, or if something's been invoiced and posted out and reconciled and paid, it won't allow you to change it. However, much the same as in Sage 200, what it does allow you to do, if I just find one of these which have got a something in, what it allows you to do is to go in and actually amend the transaction. So here, this payroll here, it's going to allow us to go in here. But if you see one of the safeguards here, it's because that's a recurring or reverse entry. So it's not going to actually allow us to change that one, which I'd completely expect. However, one of these, what the system's going to allow us to do, much the same as in Sage 50, it's going to allow us to go in and change these. So it's going to allow us to go and change the nominal code, the cost center, and everything now. So the other thing here, which we've got, so we've got that file maintenance, which again is a really, really handy thing. The other thing which is new in Sage 200, if you're aware of Sage 50, what you've got is you've got the fixed assets module. So within Nominal Ledger, what they've actually done is they've put Sage 50's fixed asset module within Sage 200. So anyone who's aware of that, it's exactly the same, you'll notice. However, really easy to use. Add any new assets onto the system that you want to do here. Put in the description. Stick a value in. When you acquired it, the date it was last depreciated, the depreciation method, where applicable and what it is, what the system's then going to do, how long you want to depreciate it over, find a balance sheet entry, find a P&L entry, and then it's going to allow you in here to start keeping information about the system, so who's the manager of that, where is it that's kind of stored at, and it'll hold that information in the system there for the next time you want to come in here and choose. You see last time I was down at Amble and Newcastle. So if we save that information there, refresh the list, and you'll notice that our new asset is there on the list. The other thing you can do, you can kind of go in and you can depreciate your fixed asset. There isn't actually any there needing depreciating now, typically. You can also go in and you can dispose of the fixed assets. And obviously the system will do all of the journal entries from the defaults, which it's expected to do, and you can delete the fixed assets. So really dead handy. It's been a while coming, but it's in there and it does exactly what it says on the tin. So fixed assets is free with the with your financials module. So dead handy. You can also, it's worth mentioning, they didn't have an import tool, but we have just had a notification from Sage that they do now have that import tool, so fixed assets can be imported into the system. Hopefully by now, the other thing I wanted to mention today is everyone should have the new the e-shot from us regarding the early settlement discount. Basically what's actually happened is that I'm sure you're all aware, but the government have changed legislation from the 1st of April. Now, anyone who has a version of Sage which is earlier than 2015, what you're going to need to do, that's actually going to need to have a service pack put on it, Service Pack 7, which actually will allow for the change to the legislation in the early settlement discount with regards to the VAT. The government did actually decide this quite late, so it's all kind of a bit last minute, but the good news is that the 2015 version of the product does allow for the early settlement discount. However, everyone who uses early settlement discount with an earlier version is going to need to be service packed. And just briefly, I'm just going to read out what the government guidelines were on this, just in case nobody's seen it. But from the government, what we've got from Sage is, currently when settlement discounts are added to invoices, the VAT is calculated to the discounted amount. Therefore, the customer always pays this reduced value of tax as shown on the invoice, even if they do not pay within the allocated early payment period. However, as from the 1st of April, suppliers must account for the VAT on the amount they actually received, and customers may recover the amount of VAT that is actually paid to the suppliers. Under these new rules, when an invoice with settlement discount is entered, the VAT must be calculated at the full rate. If the customer pays within the settlement discount period, the VAT is discounted and a VAT adjustment must be processed. So there's quite a lot of rules go along with this, and as I say, if you do use early settlement discount and you haven't yet looked at the service pack, then please get in touch with us ASAP. So that's all I wanted to mention on the early settlement discount. The last thing I wanted to mention was the Excel reporting. Now, as I say, business intelligence is still within the system. Nothing's changed on it. I know a few people like it, but in all honesty, most people were waiting on the Excel reporting coming out. So what I'm going to do is just take a quick look at that now. So out the box, not exactly sure how many reports you get. I need to check with Tim, but I think you get 16 reports anyway. It's free, but for quite a small nominal amount, what you can get every yearly, you can pay a yearly fee, and you can actually get more reports. So if you just kind of look at some of the reports which are actually here. So let's just say we look at customer transaction by period, and all I'm going to do is just view that. Now, all I would need to do to update it is literally click this update button, and the system would just go in, refresh the data. It's instant. However, just to run that, you'll see how quickly that runs in comparison to what BI was actually doing there. And the one thing which I do like about this, it's quite simple. So basically all it's doing is taking all of your sales, customer transactions, and it's just putting them here into an Excel list. Anyone who knows anything about pivot tables can make a dead easy pivot table to do and to do what they want with that data there, which I think was always missing, whereas before you had to print something out of Sage 200 and then you had to save it as a CSV file. Hopefully this makes it much easier. And then if you're not great with pivot tables, or if you just want to use the Sage ones out of the box, again, dead handy. Sage have actually done it for you. So consequently with this, my company's Homestyle Kitchens, customer turnover by period, and all I can do here, select a different customer if you like. So if I want to choose airport catering, it's just going to give us the data for airport catering. So again, just the same, you've got your filter here down the sides. Really handy. I think this has been quite a long time coming, and to get this kind of the reports free, I think it's a really good kind of tick in Sage's box there. So you've got your analysis codes and everything else. So if we want to just say exactly what it is that Alan Ward's done, straight away to work out his commissioner and anything else, it's there. I think the real power in this though is literally just the ability to take that data, just to rip it straight out of Sage, and it's essentially just the ODBC link, and just have that information here, and to allow the end user just to be able to do what they want with that data. And another quite handy one which I quite like in here, which I've been waiting for ages. Everyone who's used Sage 50 loves the idea of being able to have a month by month P&L, which was never kind of there. Quite easily now within Sage 200 using this Excel report, I think what you're going to be able to do is start to pull some nominal figures out, and this report kind of highlights it really well. You can choose the accounting period, what you want the figures to relate to, choose the accounting, the nominal codes if you like, and then quite easily from this you can start to build up a pivot table on this year and last year and start to do a P&L. So again, that's one of Sage's standard reports, really powerful out of the box. As I say, anyone wants any more information about anything which is on the system, just get in touch with me or with Tim. I'll give you our email address at the end of it. We have so much literature about 2015. Anyone that wants to talk about how their product would get upgraded or anything, by all means, just get in touch. The one last thing I'm just going to mention to you guys is this financial statement layout designer. It was fine as it was, but Sage have done, I think, a wee bit of work just to make it slightly better. Whereas before you had to start adding report categories and everything else. It's just made it a bit more user-friendly, which I think is a lot of where 2015's at. But basically, what it allows you to do, add a group. So if we say here, what we're going to call this group here is a sales group. And then what the system actually allows you to do is to go in and just add your report categories into that group, if you like, rather than you need to choose multiple or single report categories. And then you can see it just makes it much more user-friendly to start to build up your layouts. Exactly the same. So here we're going to rename this group cost of sales, and then under that you can start adding your cost of sales information into there. So hopefully, again, just a quick fix, which I think kind of just makes everyone a bit happier. It made me happier anyway. Exactly the same on the balance sheet. So yeah, as I say, a bit of a quick whistle stop tour. I do have another webinar for Project Accountant and for CRM, which we're going to arrange, so I'll get the details out for that. If anyone wants any more information about Sage 200, just get in touch. My email address is just on the screen here, so I'm Claire Inglis, and that's my email address if you want to make a note of that. Tim is Tim's email address, Tim Ramshaw. He'll be your account manager. Just get in touch with him. Okay, guys. Thank you.